Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of DGS2. So, Ryotaro has claimed that she may have been trying to get the knife out of, Giselle's back, and I have a feeling that what Hosonaga is about to tell us is that that's not possible, because if you take out the knife, it's a bad idea to take out a knife because, you know, potentially you would, cause the person to bleed out, basically, which I believe that's what the argument's gonna end up happening at this point. So, let's get going then. The basics of forensic medicine. Carelessly removing a knife that has been stabbed deeply into a body causes massive blood loss. This is considered common sense medical knowledge. The defendant, being an assistant in the medical department, should know this. In other words, there's no such thing as a plausible reason to pull the knife out. Additionally, that schoolgirl had a motive for murdering the victim. And that would be the murder of her respected Professor Watson 9 months ago. Is what the detective just stated true? Would removing the knife from a body really cause massive blood loss? Perhaps it would help to think of the blade that had been stabbed into the body as a stopper in the wound. Until one is prepared to administer professional medical treatment, one should never go recklessly pulling out the knife. Well, maybe, Haori was preparing to do that, considering she is in the medical department, so she would know, right? I see.
Ha! This is why I can't stand dealing with you hicks who know nothing of the world! Even including a quack doctor from your little town. Anyone who's ever thrust a knife into someone and then yanked it back out knows that!
I've never stabbed anyone nor yanked it back out. I certainly don't recall raising you to be the kind of girl who would.
Father, is what they just said true?
It is an incredibly basic medical fact. There's no way Murasame-kun is unaware of it. And if she were, that in and of itself would be fatal in its own way.
So then, why on earth would Haori-sama have pulled the knife out, in spite of knowing that it would be fatal?
I'm afraid I don't know.
Haori-sama didn't breathe a word to me about the knife. I hate to even think such a thing, but what if Haori-sama really did?
Susato.
Yes, sir.
Focus now. You can't go losing sight of your current position. Now then, the defense will conduct its cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
However, if your cross-examination does not yield some sort of discrepancy in the facts, I shall hand down my verdict at once.
Yes, Your Honor. To think that believing in my client and fighting for her until the bitter end would be such a heavy burden.
Alright. Looks like we're not pressing everything? It looks like we're just going through everything. I don't look like we're hitting anything. Okay, so let's just go through it then? Looks like I have some conversation and at the end of it.
It's no good. There isn't a single weak point in his testimony. I mean, now that we know that pulling the knife
out of the wound? There's still some typos I apparently missed initially when I went through this.
I mean, now that we know that pulling the knife out of the wound was dangerous, I can't think of any good reason for her to have done so.
Susato, at times like these, it's always a good idea to return to the basics.
Basics?
To put it in legal terms, return to the evidence. There should be something in there you can use to poke a hole in the testimony.
But I've already re-examined the evidence several times now.
You seem to have forgotten one important thing. It's possible to examine evidence more closely. This is your first time standing in court as a defense attorney, after all. If you need a rundown on what to do, feel free to ask.
Examining evidence, huh? Do I need him to explain?
Listen to the explanation? No need. I appreciate that this option is here. We don't need this, so we're good. We already know this. We are veteran ace attorneys here.
Come to think of it, both Kazuma-sama and Naruhodō-sama would always manipulate and turn each piece of evidence every which way, wouldn't they? Yeah, all I have to do is touch the details button.
Judging by the look in your eyes, it's all come back to you. Let's have a closer look at the evidence. We might be able to find a clue.
Yes, sir! I'll get right on that.
Alright, what are we examining now? It looks like we're looking at the pen. Mysterious pen. What are we looking at on this pen first?
There's some sort of insignia here. It doesn't belong to Yume University's medical department.
This insignia could belong to some sort of organization, or perhaps a company. Either way, it seems unlikely to belong to Murasame-kun. The victim was... Okay, fountain pen. The victim was holding it. The initials HM are engraved on the grip. Also bears something that appears to be an insignia.
HM is engraved clearly here.
Since the victim was holding this, it's obvious that it's significant in some way.
Because it indicates the killer?
No doubt this piece of evidence is the key to this case. We're looking on the back of this?
This is the newspaper that I received from Souseki-sama. There's a rather large article on the back page. Exclusive scoop. Powerful drug stolen from Yume Imperial University Medical Research Lab.
Oh. So it is poison again! We're dealing with poison, aren't we?
Medical Research Lab. Father, don't tell me it means yours.
Wait, this article. Stolen, it says.
I received it from Souseki-sama. It's this morning's paper. Does this mean you didn't know about this?
As part of the management, I'm reluctant to say so, but I didn't receive any such news. Damn this reporter. Where did he get this information?
Come to think of it, the paper that was delivered to her house didn't have such an article.
Really? This is like an original print? The powerful drug mentioned was a deadly toxin being developed in utmost secrecy in my lab. Why are we developing toxins at all? Can we not develop cures? The one who had been entrusted with its management was Murasame-kun.
What? Haori-sama was...
If what this article says is true, then it would mean that she hid this burglary incident from me. And that information was leaked to outside sources.
No!
We better read this article closely. Poison article. An article about some poison that was stolen from Yume Imperial University's Medical Research Lab. Even my father, the head of the lab, wasn't aware. Okay then. I guess poison is probably involved at some point, and that would explain that little note about the eyes being contracted. Okay, hold on a second. What are we pressing here? Okay, we're back on track, I believe. I meant to press this one.
Someone she knew had just been stabbed and was lying on the ground bleeding. It's entirely possible that a fragile young girl might be deeply shaken by that and carelessly pulled out the knife without thinking.
This isn't something that can be brushed aside with carelessly and without thinking. I can't imagine that a medical assistant would do something so irrational.
However, it's not unheard of for a maiden's heart to become irrational when she's shaken.
Yada yada. Thinking you understand will only come back to bite you in the end. I'm talking, of course, about a woman's heart.
Actually, I've got one of my own in this chest of mine.
Of course you do, but you can't mention anything about it. So, do you understand this basic medical fact now? Looks like we're presenting? It looks like we're pressing the same statement again. I'm gonna save it because I'm a little concerned here. I gotta save over this file, I'm sad. That's a good file right there. But, just in case, we're presenting the newspaper here. The music stopped. Good. There is only one possibility I can think of. One plausible reason as to why she would have pulled the knife out of the victim's body. What did you say?
Ha! This is just this hick student who doesn't know the first thing about forensic medicine, being a sore loser. Just what possibility could you possibly have?
Well, I possibly have no. That can be found here in this newspaper article. It says here that a powerful drug was stolen from the medical research lab at Yume Imperial University.
The victim was stabbed to death. Poison has nothing to do with this case.
But... Prosecutor, let us at least hear his claim to the end.
But Your Honor, newspapers are nothing but trash to spread a mixture of truth and lies.
Oh, stop. Defense. Please indicate the basis for your claim. Where in this article is the section that supports your claim?
Your Honor!
Thank you for giving me a chance, Your Honor. Haori-sama would never endanger the victim's life for no reason. The portion of the article that indicates the reason the defendant pulled the weapon out is the powerful drug stolen paragraph, the causes death in small doses paragraph. Oh, excuse me. The why was the poison developed paragraph. No, we're gonna go with causes death in small doses. Whew, I'm flown on my words today. The following is written about the deadly poison in this article. If the poison is absorbed by coating a blade in it and plunged it into the body, it causes death within minutes. What did you say? If the weapon that stabbed the victim were covered in this deadly poison, the defendant, Haori-sama, would need to pull that knife out of the victim as quickly as possible. That's right. To prevent that deadly poison from entering the body. Ah! Take that.
Here I was, listening with a smile, and yet what a joke!
This is no joke. The reason the defendant pulled the blade out was surely not to kill the victim. It's possible that she was, in fact, trying to save her.
Why don't you try looking at the corpse inspection report? The victim's cause of death is blood loss. The word poison doesn't appear anywhere in here.
We got a hint, though. Well, no doubt she managed to pull the knife out quickly enough that she successfully prevented the poison from...
Ridiculous! That's enough sophistry out of you! There's nothing even linking that bizarre poison in this case for starters. Not only that, but we can't even be sure that what this article is saying is true.
I mean, we could ask Haori. The proper course of action for a medical assistant in that situation is to wait for the necessary tools to treat the patient to arrive. And yet what she did instead was go and remove the knife, remove what she suspected to be a poison weapon. She better have had a good reason backing that decision.
Right! What he said! What was her reason, you poser?
What made Haori-sama suspect the presence of the stolen deadly poison? If it's a reason you want, she certainly had one. What?
What? But that's ridiculous!
That look in your eyes tells me that this is more than just a bluff. Since you call yourself a defense attorney, then naturally you must be aware. In the modern court system, it's evidence alone that determines what is true.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm highly aware of that fact. I saw it firsthand while standing at his side in the court in the Great British Empire.
The court would like to see evidence from the defense. Evidence that shows the link between this case and the deadly poison mentioned in the article. We're gonna present the inspection report.
Could I?
Please direct your attention to the remarks section of the corpse inspection report. Pupils in both eyes were confirmed to be fully contracted. Now, as I am but a lowly bumpkin student without any knowledge of forensic medicine, perhaps you can tell me, does the fact that they went to the trouble of including this in the report mean that we can consider this to be an abnormality?
Well,
normally when a person passes away, it causes their pupils to dilate. In other words, they expand. The fact that they were fully contracted can be considered highly irregular.
hey, what would you say, you rotten hick detective?
Excuse you? The newspaper article says the following about this powerful drug. If the poison penetrates the body, it causes the pupils to constrict to a size that is similar to that of a pinprick.
What?
When the defendant, when Haori-sama saw the knife sticking out of the victim's back, and noticed that her pupils had constricted to the size of pinpricks, her first suspicion would be that poison was present. It's only natural for a medical assistant. What do you say, Prosecutor Aochi-sama? This seems like outstanding proof to me.
You hick student and hick professor!
The court's opinion is that the defense has done a lovely job of proving that possibility.
No.
Mikatoba Yujin. Yes, Your Honor. You ought to be the most well-equipped person here to determine the veracity of the defense's remarks. You will tell us the truth about the poison in this article. Again, why are we making poisons in a university in the first place? This is incredibly difficult for me to say, but I had no idea about this.
No idea?
All our medicines are stored in the lab. I had received no report of it being stolen. You mean there's no truth to the theft claim? Not necessarily, until I can return to the lab and investigate the situation.
Ha! Some professor you are! That research, a national secret, has just been splashed across headlines and you don't even know whether the theft actually happened.
Indeed, this is all due to my negligent management.
Father. It certainly is! It's all because of the way you are. That you're willing to forgive your pupils so easily for committing murder!
How dare you?
Hold it!
Is that Haori? I think so.
Professor Mikatoba didn't do anything wrong. Everything is my fault.
I like how intense Souseki is next to her.
Haori-sama.
See here, defendant. You can't just jump up on the stand whenever you feel like it.
Actually, it was me. I was the one who noticed that day that the poison we were in the middle of developing had been stolen.
What?
You? Haori-sama?
I was responsible for the safekeeping of those medicines. That day, after the professor and Natsume Souseki-sama finished their conversation, I noticed that just a little bit of some of the medicines in our lab were missing.
Why did you not report that to me immediately?
I was frightened. Frightened by the fact that this secret poison had been stolen. So so I decided to try to recover it before anyone noticed. Because I knew exactly what the thief was up to.
The thief? You don't mean...
Yes, that lovely-faced English woman, of course.
Giselle Brett.
That's why I went swimming with her that day. I confronted the English woman in that small shack. She sat at the back of the room, smiling unconcernedly at me. I know you stole it. Give it back already.
I haven't the faintest idea what you're referring to.
And then, when she attempted to get to her feet from where she'd been sitting, she dropped to her knees before me and collapsed on the ground.
So it sounds like she was stabbed behind her.
There was a knife sticking out of her back. I don't even know what in the world happened. Then, the next moment, I was frozen with fear. Her pupils had constricted to the size of pinpricks.
What? You mean to say that the poison that had been stolen from the research lab had been used?
I lost my mind. That woman hadn't let a single thing pass her lips since I'd been watching. Which meant that there was only one feasible method by which the poison could have entered her body.
The knife sticking out of her back.
So the reason you pulled out the knife...
Yes. If the amount of poison that had penetrated her body was small enough, there would still be hope. That's what I was thinking. I'm really deeply sorry for not having said anything until just now.
Oh, Harry. We could have avoided this whole ordeal had you just mentioned to at least one other person. We cannot simply let you off the hook for having hidden these details. However, the court respects the courageous confession you just made.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe I felt the atmosphere in the courtroom shift ever so slightly. You mustn't let her fool you, Your Honor! You claim the victim just suddenly collapsed before her in pain? Then by all means tell us how the victim was stabbed! It happened right in front of you, did it not?
Well, that's...
This girl stabbed her to get revenge! All the facts point unmistakably to that conclusion!
However, you lack conclusive evidence.
If it's proof you want, then I've got it. There's nothing more conclusive than this! That was odd. The prosecutor. I feel like he hesitated just for a moment there.
You will present your evidence to the court then, Prosecutor Ouchi.
Allow me to extend you a compliment, Hicks student. Huh? I didn't think I would need to present this. Suck on this!
Who took the picture? This... What a ghastly scene this photo depicts. Hold on, I thought those two were the only people in there. Someone had to have taken that.
Nothing exposes the true killer more clearly than this piece of evidence. Here, we can see the very moment that Murasame Haori committed her crime.
No! This is just...
It can't be. No!
Order! 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 That was quite a piercing scream from the defense's bench just now.
Perhaps the carefree hick student is still waiting on his voice to finish its carefree changing.
Careful now. The Susato side of you just slipped out. This photo. I suppose this is what they mean to say, a photo is worth 1,000 words. The court accepts this vital piece of evidence. Evidence photo. A photo of the moment of the murder. It shows the victim and my friend, Murasame Haori.
But... who would have thought that there'd be a photo like this? Drat. I'm still at a loss for words after taking such damage.
Wait a moment. That photo. Who on earth took that photo?
Leave it to Haori to ask the important question here.
Haori-sama. You want to know who the photographer is? What does it matter?
What are you saying? Nothing could be more important. This would mean that the photographer witnessed the crime. We must hear that person's testimony. Indeed, the defense makes a valid request. The prosecution will provide information on the photographer who took this photo.
Actually, I don't know.
What? You what?
This photo was received by the Imperial Police via special delivery. As there was no sender identified, the photographer is unknown.
And yet you presented it anyway? What? So then, prosecutor, you intend to submit to the Supreme... to admit to the Supreme Court? You intend to submit to the Supreme Court this suspicious photo whose origins are a complete mystery to you. Just a moment ago, you hesitated briefly before submitting this evidence. That was because you knew that it wasn't ideal evidence, wasn't it?
Hey, shut your mouths! You've got a lot of nerve for a hick student and a careless professor! The only thing that matters is the truth captured here.
However, the defendant admits to pulling the knife out of the body. Naturally, this is not the moment that the knife was stuck in.
It's the moment it was pulled out, is what you wanted to say. Your quibbling is a waste of time.
This is true. Without being able to hear the photographer's testimony, we have no way to confirm one way or the other. And with this photo being as conclusive as it is, unless the defense can indicate a new fact, I shall hand down my verdict. But it's time to brace yourself, Susato. If everything you've proven so far is true, then there can be no doubt that this was the moment that the weapon was pulled out.
He's right. You can cry about it together at the slow train home. On the slow train. About the fact that you ever had the misfortune of crossing paths with me, Aochi Takesuchi.
If we can't figure out the identity of the person who took this photo, then the trial is over. Is there really nothing here that can give us a clue as to who took it? In regards to wait, what? The judge said something, I didn't get the line. In regards to the identity of the photographer, the defense can prove it? Can prove it. Can't prove it. Can prove it. I'm sorry, I got those mixed around. We will answer that in the next video because, yes it is, guys. We are out of time, unfortunately. So I will see you guys then.